One of our deceivers once had their big toe cut off. Ooh. You can tell us who you think it is by voting along in the chat. Now let's find out who's telling the truth and who is a chump. Welcome to Chump, everybody, the Rooster Teeth game show all about lying and deception. I'm your host, Jeremy Dooley, and this episode is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Protect your online privacy today by heading to expressvpn.com/RTTV. And now it's time to introduce the deceivers for today's episode, starting with deceiver number one, Ashley Dillard.
Hello.
Welcome. First time. There's usually applause there. There it is. Just came in a little late. Don't worry, they're on the buttons. It's just sometimes it lags behind a little bit. Deceiver number two, Matt Bragg.
Yo.
Hey, there it is. Yeah. And deceiver number three, please welcome Leva Bates. Welcome to the show.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Well, that is awesome. We have a great cast. We have two new deceivers and Matt. But also, we need to welcome our contestant for today's episode, Mr. Aaron Porter is here.
Hey! Oh, look at that.
Whoa! Did you just do that, you loser?
I did.
They don't have that ability. They don't have the budget for that. You did it.
I did it.
But also, audience, yes, you are playing along at home, voting on who is telling the truth and who is lying. So, I'm going to ask a few people because we've got some newcomers here. Let's start with Aaron, who is the contestant for today. Aaron, how are you feeling going into this? Do you think you'll be able to sort anything out? Are you confident in your abilities?
My confidence level on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say is a solid 3.
Nice.
Solid
good.
3. Okay.
Better than most.
And I'll tell you why. One, I work with Ashley, and so I know her pretty well. But I know, like, boss Ashley.
Right.
We know about Bashley, and I've heard stories from college Ashley.
Yes.
Those are wild. So I'm terrified on that front. Leva is a professional wrestler, which means she's an actress, which means her job is to lie to me. So she's going to be very good at it. And then Matt's a fucking weirdo. So, like, I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to do here.
No, come on, Aaron. You know me. You know me.
Right. But
no, that's the problem, Matt. I know you. I know you.
We also have two brand new deceivers on the show as well. So going down the line here, Ashley, are you confident in your ability to lie to Aaron? He just said you two work together quite a lot.
I'm going to try my best, and we'll see if he can sniff me out.
This is Aaron goes. This is the lean back. He's really probably. And Leva, first time on the show. How do you feel? Do you feel confident that you can lie out of this? I know the lies were a little bit before the show. You were like, oh man, the lying part is going to be, that's the tough one. Like telling stories, of course, but lying.
Yeah. I actually feel pretty confident. I mean, I'm also going to use a little bit of intimidation with the whole wrestling thing. I know how to beat people up.
That's smart. That's fair.
So,
that's very fair.
Aaron's face just went, oh,
I'm terrified. Leave it.
I'm only not deceiving, friends. But I'm intimidating.
Yeah. Leave and I become friends online. I'm terrified to meet her in person because she can kill me, and that's a scary thing.
I've done it, and Leva distracted me for a low blow. The time that I've met Leva in person.
That's right.
Yep.
I am a pure angel, guys. Pure angel. It's all a lie.
Well, it's time to figure out everyone's lying ability as we go into our first game, which is called Just the Facts. In this game, I'll be giving Aaron one true fact about one of our three deceivers. However, all three of them are going to be defending this fact as if it's about them. Aaron will question each of them about this fact up to my discretion. I'll tell him when to move on to the next person. And at the end of the game, he just needs to tell me who this fact is truly about. So two of them will be lying, pretending it's about them. One will be telling the truth. With that in mind, Aaron, the fact in question is the one that I mentioned at the beginning of the show, which is one of our three deceivers once had their big toe cut off. One of
Jesus
our three
Christ.
deceivers once had their big toe cut off. Audience, you're voting along. The buttons are going to be up in the chat. So as you hear stories, you can change your vote whenever you feel like you need to. If you're on mobile, it works a bit differently. You type hashtags in the chat to cast your vote. Hashtag 1 for Ashley, hashtag 2 for Matt, and hashtag 3 for Leva. So, Aaron, with all that in mind, who do you want to question first? You can go in whatever order you want.
I want to question Ashley.
We're going to question Ashley
right?
first. All right. Once had her big toe cut off. There's no time limit, and I'll tell you when you've had enough questions. So whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Ashley, if you were the one who had your toe cut off, and I'm not saying that you are, but if you were, tell me how it happened.
Okay, so there was this club on downtown 6th Street called Malaya. It doesn't exist anymore because apparently they were doing some kind of crazy drug smuggling stuff. But I was there, and I like to wear like high-heeled shoes. I don't wear them anymore, and I don't wear open-toed shoes anymore because they had this like this platform, and somebody dropped a glass, and it legit shattered and cut off a big chunk of my big toe. And it was disgusting. Like I didn't feel a lot. So I was feeling pretty good at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have to go to the hospital, and it was
I would think so,
pretty
yeah.
gnarly.
Okay. How many stitches?
So
Do you
it was
remember?
definitely about 16 stitches to get it back on.
Okay. And when was this? Was this when you were in college or?
Oh yeah, this was college. It was about 2013 in my heyday.
Oh, okay, right on. No, that does not surprise me. So let's say, so what was the fallout of that? So like you had 16 stitches, right? How long did it take for that to heal up?
It took a pretty long time. I would say it was at least, I still don't actually wear a lot of open-toed shoes, I'll be real honest, because it still looks kind of gross. But it was at least 2 years before I even felt comfortable with my foot again.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, Aaron, I'm going to end your questioning there for
right.
Ashley. So there's the story from Ashley. I love Ashley says it was in my heyday. Like those are behind me. They're over. Aaron, who do you want to go to next?
Let's go to Leva.
Going to Leva next. All right.
Ooh, okay.
Off to Leva. Once had her big toe cut off. Whenever you're ready, Aaron, begin your questioning.
All right, Leva. Not saying it was you, but if it was you, how did your toe get cut off?
I was on a moped between my sister and my cousin jumped off. I was a child, so my feet were dangling, and the toe got caught in a chain and went poop off.
How? Ow. And so is that toe just permanently gone? Were they able to surgically repair it?
It's put back on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's back on.
Any loss in like range of motion or feeling in it?
It's a little misshapen actually when you compare it to my other big toe. It's a little fatter because I did it as a child. I was 2 years old, so you have a lot of growing. So it kind of grew. It's not terribly misshapen. It just looks a little fatter, whereas the regular toe is a little longer. If that makes sense.
Okay.
And it has a cool scar around it too.
Oh, nice. Okay. And so where did this take place? You said you're riding with you said your sister and your cousin?
Yes. I lived in Kentucky, so a lot of outdoors. My cousin, I think it was my cousin's moped. Again, I was 2, so I don't really know. But my older sister is 11 years older than me. So she was driving. I was hanging onto her, and then our cousin was behind me, and kids being kids, he jumped off and it tilted us, and that's when my little toe dangled.
Gotcha. What was
my
your
little 2-year-old toe?
Your little piggy. What was your parents' reaction to this?
Apparently, mom had to hold my toe on with washcloth, as she says, washcloth, and we we went to the hospital. They actually had to put me in a straitjacket because they couldn't knock me out because I had just had dinner. It was like we all had dinner and we went out to go ride in mopeds and stuff. Oh. So apparently you can't be under anesthesia right after eating. So they had to put me in a straitjacket.
Wild.
Whoa. Wild. So Aaron. So that's your questioning there, Aaron, for that.
Okay.
All right. So 2 down. And then that leaves Matt Bragg. It's time to figure out how Matt Bragg lost his toe. Aaron, whenever you're ready, begin your questioning.
Mr. Bragg, thank you for taking the stand here.
Anytime.
I'd like to know. I'd like to know, how did you lose your toe?
So when I was in high school, I worked for my family's heating and air business, and occasionally they would have to like cut out and like make frames with a jigsaw, like on the 2x4s and all that. This guy who's no longer working there, he was doing the jigsaw. He went all the way through, wasn't really paying attention, kept going. And he dropped the saw. I was right there beside him, hit my toe, and that was the whole thing. Got cut.
Yeah, so the whole toe got cut off?
Not the whole toe, but I mean that's the whole story. It cut like kind of like a weird cut, like a little bit of the like left upper quadrant of the toe.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Okay. Was it your right or your left toe?
Is my right toe.
Right.
I stand with my right foot forward normally. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I remember seeing that, when we were in the office together, however many years ago that was. So here's a question. What was the, so that dude got fired. Did he get fired for that incident?
He had a few other things before that, but that was the one that kind of broke. You don't maim the family's kid and continue to work there.
Turns out that's a pretty bad way to keep your job. And so when this happened, what was the initial response? Like what was the reaction in that situation?
Well, we got to go to the hospital, and then, Aaron.
Yeah. Well, I know that, but I mean, like who drove you?
Well, my dad was there. I worked with him.
Okay.
I mean, he drove me to the hospital.
I'm just trying to get back here, sir.
I was trying to I don't know. My initial reaction was, that's fine. I guess I'll just keep working.
That's the correct thing to do. You're on the clock, buddy. This family business isn't going to put food on the table.
I needed more money.
All right, Aaron. So there you go. All of your questioning is done there. So we have, Party Ashley. We've got Saw Matt over there. Moped Leva. How did someone lose their toe? One of them is telling the truth. Audience, it's your last chance to get your answers in. Change them wherever you want to. Now, Aaron, before we get your final answer, after questioning them, is there anyone that you're not believing, or was there like a plot hole that you found in any of the stories? What are you thinking here?
I don't think it's Ashley. I feel like a falling glass is not going to be enough to like chop off part of your toe. It can cut your toe really bad, but I feel like it's probably not going to cut it off. Also, it was she started talking about a ramp and then like quickly switched from that over to the falling glass, and that felt a little odd. It kind of it felt like she was trying to come up with the story and then went, that's the thread I want. So I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm not good at this.
You certainly
we're gonna find out.
Right. So it sounds like when you're coming to your final decision here, you're kind of it sounds like you're between two at the moment. So we'll see where your final answer is. Audience, we're locking you in. Oh no, not yet. Don't you get that?
I won't say anything.
We don't want you to influence what the audience does, because audience, you're locked in now. Thank you for playing game number 1, and best of luck to you. So a reminder to the deceivers, audience is voting on this, and Aaron is voting on this. If they both get it wrong, that's 2 points to the deceiver. So deceivers have a chance to win 2 points in every round. So best of luck in that case. But on to Aaron. Aaron, it's time for me to get a final answer from you. Who once had their big toe cut off?
I've got to be honest with you. As somebody who grew up out in the middle of nowhere, Leva's story feels like the story I've heard from like everybody. So I'm going with Leva.
You want to lock that in as a final
I'm going to
answer?
lock that in. I'm going to lock that in.
Let's lock in Leva as the one who once lost a big toe. But before we can reveal anything, we need to see how the audience voted. So let's get those percentages up and see. Audience, who do you think this story is truly about? Ashley, Matt, or Leva? They think Leva as well. 73%. Only 10 for Ashley. the glass. 17 for Matt. They think that Leva Bates had a moped incident, and I can reveal the person who once lost their big toe was Leva Bates. Yes, Aaron, you got it. You got it right.
Wow,
Moped story. Congrats.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done, Aaron. Well done, audience. Get that out of here.
That's for you, audience. That's for you.
So you have it back. It's all good. Right, Leva?
Yep. It's kind of interesting. My nail has a crack in it the opposite way. All right. So here's the toe. The scars like almost all the way around. There's like a little. Apparently, it was hanging on by a tiny piece of skin. And so that part's not scarred, but everything else is scarred. But then the nail itself is also cracked up. And I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe when it came off, it messed up how the nail grows. I've always had that permanent crack in my nail.
I'm going to assume when it came off, something got messed up with it.
I guess so. I guess so.
That's not normally just like a shake it off type thing for the toe.
I called mom today. I'm like, Mom, did my sister or my cousin get in trouble? She goes, honey, I was too busy holding your toe on to know. Like, I didn't leave your side for like days.
Yeah, that's fair.
Apparently, at one point, the only time she left was to go grab food, and I guess my papa was there, and I ripped out the IV because I was like done with it. I was like, I'm done with it. Let's go.
Oh God!
She came back, and there's blood all over the place again. So,
so that means
2-year-old Leva super hyperactive.
This episode of Chump is brought to you by DoorDash. Do you need something from the store, but you don't want to go through traffic to get there? Use DoorDash for that kind of stuff. All right, you just need one thing. Call up DoorDash. They'll do it for you. That's right. DoorDash not only connects you to the restaurants that you love right away, they can also deliver grocery essentials in under an hour. Ordering is easy. You just go to the DoorDash app, pick out what you want from where you want. Just like the name implies, they will dash that item right to your door, and it is contact free so you can stay safe. DoorDash is super easy to use. I use it all the time. If I ever have a really busy night and I just want dinner taken care of and not on my list for that night, along with everything else, I can open the app. I can schedule when I want it delivered. I can pick the food I want from where I want, whatever I'm feeling that night. Whatever Kat wants, I just order what I want, hand it to her. She orders what she wants. We hit order, and it's done. I don't have to think about it anymore. I'll get an alert when it shows up, go down, and it's right there at my door waiting for me. So that is taken care of and off my mind for the night. For a limited time, our listeners can get 25% off and 0 delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter the code CHUMP2021. That's 25% off up to a $10 value and 0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter the code CHUMP2021. Don't forget, that's code CHUMP2021 for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Subject to change and terms apply. Thank you, DoorDash. Now, back to the episode. At the end of that round, it means that the audience and the contestant both get 1 point. Deceivers, no points yet. But like I said, there's still a lot of points to be had in future rounds, including our second round, which is called High School Dilemma. In this game, I have one true fact about one of our deceivers from their time in high school. I will be presenting this fact to Aaron, and he will question each of our deceivers for 60 seconds about this fact to try to determine who it is truly about. So 2 of them are lying. to answer his questions, and one is telling the truth. The fact in question is one of our 3 deceivers was once recruited for their high school swim team after the coach saw them swimming at a party. So after the coach saw them swimming at a party, they were recruited for their high school swim team. Now, remember, this is 60 seconds on the clock, so try to keep your questions and answers a little shorter so you can rattle a few off. I will always award an extra question if anything's taking too long, so don't worry about that. But, of course, that's up to my discretion, so if Aaron gets on my nerves, he won't get that question. All right, Aaron, you get 60 seconds. Who do you want to start with?
I'm going to start with Matt.
Starting with Matt's on this one. All right.
All right.
High school swim team, coach at a party, 60 seconds on the clock. Ready, get set, go.
Matt, what was the party for?
It was like a church thing. I think it was at the end of Vacation Bible School.
Okay. And
trying to remember it
did you join the swim team?
I did for like
what was your preferred stroke?
Season. I did I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was like the one where you go like this. I don't remember the name anymore. This is in high school, Aaron.
Okay. And how well did you do in competition?
I did pretty well, actually. The main reason I quit was because they asked me to shave my legs, and I didn't want to do that.
Okay. But you were okay shaving the rest of your body?
Well, I mean, I didn't really do any of that either, Aaron. I mean, I was in high school. I didn't need to. I was fresh.
Okay, that's fair. Some of us are late bloomers. That's fine. Listen. Did you? So you never won any competitions?
I mean, we won a few.
I'm talking
But it wasn't like a ton. As a team, yeah, like not me specifically. I'm not the team.
That's a great point.
You're part of it.
There's no I in team, Aaron. Very important. All right. Aaron, there's your questioning for Matt done. Who would you like to go to next?
We're going to Leva.
All right, going to Leva next. Recruited after the coach saw her swimming at a party. 60 seconds on the clock. Ready, get set, go.
All right, Leva, tell me, what was the party for?
It was actually at the YMCA. I took a lot of lessons there. I took gymnastics lessons, I took swimming lessons, and some of my friends in the swimming class had a party. It was her birthday. Her name was Emily Oliver. And we were there, because we're all part of, the swim class anyway. And my coach, for some reason, was also there with his family. I don't know if his kids were taking lessons or not. But yeah, he saw me swimming and I got recruited at the YMCA.
What was your preferred stroke?
It was the breast.
Breaststroke? Okay. All right. And what was your fastest time?
I have to be honest. I didn't think I was very fast, but it was about 58 seconds.
Okay. And how well did your team do in competition?
We did okay. We're in Kentucky, so there wasn't a lot of other swim teams, so we didn't really have a lot of competition. So we did okay. We never won first place, but we weren't last place either. So
there you go.
Mid card.
There you go.
Kentucky has recently figured out what water is. So yeah, swimming's really coming around. It's really. All right, so that leaves Ashley. Ashley recruited for her high school swim team after the coach saw her swimming at a party. Aaron, are you ready for these questions?
I'm ready.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Ready, get set, go.
Ashley, what was your preferred stroke?
So I really like the breaststroke, but what I was really good at in competition was the IM. It's the you go fly back breast free. It's you do 100 meters each way. I was good at the long distance.
Okay. And what was the party for?
It was a birthday party for this guy named Sean Frederick. He was both on the drum team and the swim team. That's how I met him.
Oh, okay. And why was the coach there?
He was like this really young coach, and Sean was a bit of a nerd, so he invited him, and he showed up.
Wild. That's wild. Yeah. And okay, so what was your best time?
On the IM? Oh man, you're taking me back. It was not that great. I mean, what? Maybe like 10 minutes or something like that?
Okay.
8 minutes?
I think I'm good. Okay.
All right. Aaron has all the information that he needs. Audience, get in those votes. Last chance. We'll be locking you in just a second. Aaron, before we get your final decision on this, same question as last time. Was there anything that you felt like was a plot hole in a story, or anyone that you're just discounting here? What are you thinking?
I'm discounting Matt.
Okay.
I
had
Matt,
a feeling you might.
Yeah. Matt not knowing really any of the strokes was a little weird, and then not being willing to shave his legs. But yeah, I don't know. It was just a weird story all the way around. So I don't know, man. I was just like, I feel like it can't be Matt. And if it is Matt, we're gonna have to have a conversation after this.
All right, so it sounds like you're between Ashley and Leva on this one.
Yeah, I'm between Ashley and Leva. Yeah.
All right, so while you figure out who
I will say I'm surprised that that Kentucky has swimming pools. I thought it would just be, swimming competitions down at the creek.
Team.
We have ponds as well, guys.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
You're right.
Like the swim teams meet up at ponds.
Swimming hole.
Swimming hole.
Before somebody gives me shit, I grew up in South Mississippi. I have no thing I can say about this. All right, I'm just taking the jokes I've heard and putting them on Leva.
Before we get your final answer, audience, we are locking in your votes. Thank you very much for voting in game number 2, and best of luck to you to keep the lead you currently have, along with Aaron. So, Aaron, time to go to you. Who is this fact truly about? Who was recruited for their high school swim team after their coach saw them swimming at a party?
If it's not Ashley has, as I saw a comment pop up, if it's not Ashley has a lot of weird knowledge about swimming, and we need to have a conversation. So I'm going with Ashley.
A lot of conversations are possible on the horizon.
Yes.
Do you want to lock in Ashley?
I'm locking in Ashley.
Let's lock in Ashley as the one who's recruited for the high school swim team. And before we can give our final votes here, we need to, or before I can reveal who this is really about, we need to see what the audience voted. So audience, let's see those percentages. 78% think it is about Ashley, 10% for Matt, and 10% for Leva. Very similar, very similar voting system as the last round. A very similar spread. And so I can reveal that the person who was recruited for their high school swim team after their coach saw them swimming at the party is Matt Bragg.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Matt Bragg? What is wrong with you? Fucking weirdo.
It was 1 year of my life, man. I didn't really want to do it. I was good, just didn't want to keep doing it.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
Dude, small town. They all came to my grandparents' house for the VPS party.
Dude, Matt, listening to you tell that, knowing it was true, and you being like,
it was
a church thing. There's that. I was like, oh my god, like, come on. That is so amazing.
Also, Ashley, why do you know so much shit about swimming?
I was on the swim team for a while. That is true.
There we go.
There you go.
There you go.
The best lies are the ones that have a hint of truth, so that's fair.
See, but here's the thing. At least Leva said a breaststroke. Matt said this.
Matt
this one.
I'll be honest.
Like this.
That is legitimately me just forgetting the names of it because I put all that information out of my mind. Thank God you didn't ask me a time, because I'm like, I have no idea. I couldn't remember any of that if you asked me to.
Well, Ashley was on a swim team and didn't remember a time. I know that's not stuff that sticks with you, you know.
Listen, that was a trap question. If you gave me a confident time, I was gonna be like, you're full of shit. Like, you're full of shit.
You know what? That's a great point. You know, like being on, like I was on the gymnastics team, and if someone's like, "What was your best score for this?" I was like, "I don't know. Right, whatever I got that day." Yeah.
I started doing math in my head. I was like, "How long did it take me to do a 100 freestyle?" I'm like, minute and a half. I don't know.
Yeah, it's exactly.
I had no idea. I was
forgotten.
like, yeah, our school didn't have a swim team. Yeah, our school didn't have a pool.
Right. No, cool.
I mean, what
The
was this
pond-
stuff
the pond
water
wasn't
being
clean those
last
4
week?
years.
Yeah. This episode of Chump is brought to you by Voodoo Ranger. Voodoo Ranger is the beer that doesn't take itself too seriously, and neither should you. You can literally choose which Voodoo Ranger to drink based on the can design alone, and trust that no matter which you've grabbed, you'll still love the beer's taste. Because there's only one thing that Voodoo Ranger does take seriously, and that's how their beer tastes. You should check out the Captain Dynamite and Imperial IPA beers from Voodoo Ranger. Captain Dynamite is locked, stocked, and fully hopped. It's a hazy, I almost said. It's a hazy IPA that explodes with tropical citrus flavors and aromas. The Imperial IPA is a rare blend of choice hops and a complex, rich flavor. I really do love Voodoo Ranger beers. I was never super into IPAs when I was getting into beer and drinking them, but Voodoo Ranger was seriously delicious and has changed how I look at IPAs in general. I really like them all. Juicy Haze is my personal favorite. Captain Dynamite and Imperial IPA are amazing. Every new addition to the Voodoo Ranger collection is just delicious. You can tell that they really care about the quality of the beer and how it tastes, and that reflects in each one that you drink because they're very easy to drink and they just really do taste great. You can visit at Voodoo Ranger, at Voodoo Ranger, like, you know, at like the thing, on Instagram and Twitter to learn more and live rangerously. Get it? It's like dangerously, but with Ranger because of Voodoo Ranger. Get some Voodoo Ranger. Enjoy yourself. Drink responsibly. Thank you very much. Back to the show. Which means a real turnaround there because the deceivers got 2 points that round for fooling both the contestant and the audience. So it is now 1-1-2. So just like that, the contestant and the audience are tied for being the chump because it's not about having the most points. It's about not having the least points. So this next game is going to mean everything. It is called Pushing the Envelope. Now, there are 2 points up for grabs for all three teams here. So a lot is on the line. It's all going to come down to this. I have a bunch of properly, I was going to say engraved, but they're not engraved. It's just printed on there. Properly labeled envelopes, not using the red ones anymore. Each one has a true fact about one of our three deceivers inside. I'm going to shuffle them up and redistribute them. So they might get their own fact or they might get someone else's fact. Aaron is going to question each of them for 60 seconds about the fact that they received. If it's theirs, they answer those questions truthfully. If it's not theirs, they lie and try to get Aaron to think that that fact is about them. But first things first, we need to distribute these facts. Starting with Ashley.
What's up?
Ashley once saw a girl go zombie at a party and start biting people. I don't know if that's a classic thing, a go zombie, but you know, we'll hear more about it in the story. The true fact about Matt. Matt's godfather was in a biker gang.
Okay.
Matt's godfather was in a biker gang. Leva Bates. Leva once drove her car through a heavily flooded area. And, audience, I got to tell you how you work on this one. You're voting on one of these facts in particular, and who it is truly about. And the fact that you are voting on today is whose godfather was in a biker gang. Matt is claiming that this is about him. After you hear the stories, you can decide, is it about Matt? Is it about Leva? Is it about Ashley? Cast your votes there, and 2 points if you get that right. It's a bit harder to do because you only hear one story. Aaron, who do you want to question first?
You know what? Let's start with Leva.
Let's start with Leva. Drove through a heavily flooded area. 60 seconds on the clock to question Leva. Ready, get set, go.
How heavily flooded was it?
It was really flooded. I live in Florida. I don't know if you knew that. I think you did. It rains all the time. We have basically our seasons are hot, rainy season, hurricane season. So it was a tropical storm and it hit really, really hard. But the thing is, it doesn't have a lot of drains for the water to go down. So it was it came up to my knees, maybe a little bit past my knees. It was really, really high. But I had to go. I was stuck at work. When it rains really fast, really hard here in Florida. So I just said, screw it. I got to get home. I got a cat. I'm going to go home. So I did it.
Gotcha.
It messed up my car.
I
made it home. I made it home. So I was a baller, but I had to get my car worked on.
When was this?
So I moved in 2005. So I'm going to say it's probably a couple years after 2007. 2007-ish.
And Aaron, I will give you another question, Aaron, if you would like one.
Yeah. You said you were leaving work. What work were you leaving?
I'm an entertainer at Universal Studios, or was at the time. So I was leaving Universal Studios.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
All right. So there we go. There's your questioning for Leva. Aaron, who would you like to question next?
Let's go with Matt.
Going with Matt, whose godfather was in a biker gang. Audience, remember, you are voting on this question. So remember, you want to pay extra close attention to Matt right here and decide, is this story about Matt? Is it about Ashley? Is it about Leva? Cast your votes in the chat. All right, Aaron, 60 seconds on the clock. Ready, get set, go.
All right, Matt, what gang was he in?
Oh, Aaron, come on now. You know I don't know that information.
Matt, why can't you give me any details for any Why are you here, Matt?
I just know he was in a gang. I was young, dude. I haven't talked to my godfather for quite a while.
Okay, and do you remember if what his motorcycle looked like?
I believe it was a Harley. It was the ones that had the thing come up and he sat back on it, that sort of thing.
Okay. What color was it?
Mm-hmm. It was really loud. It was actually black and it had a little thing on the side. It was a cross.
A cross. Okay. And what did your godfather do for a living?
Oh man, I'm trying to remember because I know he did some handyman stuff at the church, but I think he might have gone on to more construction after that. Okay. It's been a while, Aaron. I don't know. He could be doing anything.
No, I'm noticing that's a running trend with you, Matt.
Running trend with Matt is the thing.
I don't know.
Things in the
stuff.
past happened a while ago. All right, Aaron. Okay, so that leaves the prompt here. Ashley,
yes, I saved it for last.
Once saw a girl go zombie at a party and start biting people. 60 seconds to question Ashley on this. Ready, get set, go.
Ashley, what the fuck?
So I'm not really sure, Aaron, because it was a bit hazy. And when you see something like that, you don't believe it for a good while until a few people get bit. And then you're like, she's biting people.
Where was this?
It was on a party near Red River, near UT campus, in the backyard.
Okay, and when was this?
2015-ish, 2014, 15.
Okay, so 6 or 7 years ago. Gotcha. Okay, and what did you do when that started happening?
Well, obviously, I stepped back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? When some grown men try to take down a woman who is trying to take off flesh, you kind of just move back and say, this is not my problem to solve.
Okay, that's a fair statement.
That was really insightful all the way through. There's a lot of tissue shirts in that one.
Not my problem to solve. She learned an important lesson that day.
It was a bit hazy, but when you see someone biting people, it sticks with you. My God. All right, Aaron, that is your questioning on those 3 facts. Audience, remember, you're voting on whose godfather was in a biker gang. Cast your votes now. It's your last chance before we lock you in for the entire show. Aaron, before we get your final answers here, after hearing all of that, how are you feeling about these stories? Any plot holes you found, or are you kind of wavering on all of these? What's going on?
Matt is a permanent plot hole. I'm Matt plot hole Bragg is what I'm calling him from now on.
Oh, dude, I'm down.
See the comment that's on the screen right now. Matt is a brilliant deceiver because no matter whether the story is true or lie, he'll have the same level of detail. Right, because he doesn't remember anything. Asking that a question at this point, you might as well just go, oh, fuck. Like, that's the information I get. It's fine. But that said, it's going through the stories. They all seem legit. I feel pretty good about all of them except Matt's.
Right,
but
which
he has to have one of these.
That doesn't mean anything, though, does it?
He has to have one of the stories. All right, so audience, we are locking you in for game number 3 and the show. Best of luck to you. You're going to need these points to make sure that you don't wind up as the chump. So, Aaron, it's a bit different for them because if they get this question right, that's 2 points automatically for them. For you to also secure 2 points, and a certain win, to not be the chump, you need to get all 3 of these correct. That's 2 points. If you get 2 of them correct, you get 1 point, which means you would tie the deceivers. So it's time to go down the line, and we're going to start with Ashley. And all we need to know is, was Ashley, with the girl going zombie and biting people, was Ashley telling the truth or telling a lie?
I'm going to say Ashley's telling the truth.
You want to lock that in?
I want to lock that in.
Lock in Ashley as telling the truth. On to Matt. Matt, whose godfather was in a biker gang. Was Matt telling the truth or telling a lie?
Who the fuck knows at this point, man? I'm gonna go with I'm gonna fuck.
Really up there with this one. This is
yeah.
I'm delighted either way, Aaron.
Right.
Really, I am.
Right. That's just having
You've done your job. You've done it well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Matt's telling the truth.
You want to lock that in?
I have to. Yeah.
Okay. Man, you sound so happy about it.
I know it's coming. I know.
Now, Aaron, mathematically, you would think that Leva is telling the truth because it would be impossible for Leva to lie and no one else telling a lie. Right. People have gone against that before, but do you want to go for the clean sweep here? Do you think Leva's telling the truth or telling a lie?
I think Leva's telling the truth.
You want to lock that in as well?
I'm going to lock that in.
Let's lock that in. All 3 got their own facts and are telling the truth. Before we reveal who's telling the truth and who is telling a lie, audience, who did you think had a godfather that was in a biker gang? Did you think it was Matt? Do you think it's Ashley? Do you think it is Leva? Let's take a look. See what those percentages are. They believe Matt. 58% believes Matt. 22% for Leva and 20% for Ashley. So much closer than the other games have been. But a little over half of the people watching believe that Matt, that the story is about him. So you're in the same boat
slowly
as
doing
the audience
that
right now.
Grin. I hate this. I hate this.
you're in the same boat as the audience, Aaron. So let's go down the line one at a time, starting with Ashley. Ashley, who saw a girl go zombie at a party and start biting people. You thought Ashley was telling the truth, and I can reveal Ashley was telling the truth. Yes, you got that right. You got that right, Aaron was. And we will definitely hear more about that story in our post-show Chump Change. I look forward to learning a bit more about that. On to Matt. All right, this is the one. Matt Bragg, whose godfather was in a biker gang. You and the audience thought Matt was telling the truth. I can reveal Matt is telling a lie. That was a lie from Matt.
God damn you, Matt Bragg!
Which means...
Aaron, I'm going to let you know a little secret. I don't even have a godfather.
That thought crossed my mind.
Which means Leva Bates, who drove through a heavily flooded area. You thought Leva was telling the truth. I can reveal that Leva was telling a lie. That was Matt Bragg's story. Leva Bates is the one whose godfather was in a biker gang. So audience, you did not get the points for that round either, which means that the deceivers, for fooling Aaron twice that round, receive 1 point. And that means that the current score is 1-1 to 3. The deceivers have taken this game as the winner. But of course, it's not about having the most points. It's about not having the least points. And there's a tie, which means there are joint chumps this episode. At the end of the episode, both the contestant and the audience watching are going to be tonight's Chump. There it is. There it is. There's the oh no. You got those effects already.
Yeah, he's doing well with the effects.
He's on it. But we will get to hear the true stories from both Matt and Leva in our post show Chump Change, and elaborate a bit more on what the hell Ashley's talking about. So we're gonna dive into all of that. So thank you to you have to be a first member to watch that. Thank you everyone who already is a first member. If you're not, become one and you can check out the show. Other than that, I want to give a special thank you to Aaron, Ashley, Matt, and Leva for joining for this episode of Chump. That was really fun. That was awesome. Very well done, everybody. It's time to go do our post show. Yeah, thanks for coming. And you are all welcome back whenever you would like. And to you, audience, thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week for yet another episode of Chump. A bunch of new liars, a new contestant, new stories. We'll see you then. Goodbye. Thanks for watching, everyone. And as always, let us know in the comments who managed to fool you and who you want to see on the show in the future. And to remind you, we just launched our 2021 Pride merch. A portion of all proceeds from this collection go to Out Youth, which is an LGBTQIA plus organization. You can click the box below me, check it out, and pick up some of that merch for yourself. Thank you very much. It's for a good cause, and we'll see you next week.